PlayStation Plus and PS Now do a little fusion dance, and we can all breathe a sigh of relief that the regular PS Plus service we all know and love will remain the same. Let's get into it. Hey, how's it going? Honest to Critic, and I was a little nervous when clicking on this post from PlayStation Blog about the tier system that we knew was coming, Project Spartacus, a new service combining PlayStation Plus and PS Now. Yeah, I was a little nervous just because, with things like this, you don't want certain things to change. I wanted this to be optional. I did not want the pricing to change on the regular package of PlayStation Plus because I still think it's a very great value for the most part. I mean, if we have to pay for online, of course, if we have to pay for it, PlayStation Plus has been providing a pretty decent service, pretty decent games, in my opinion, monthly. So I didn't want to see any of that change, but there was that fear. There was that fear that they might take away the annual subscription. Yeah. But rejoice, because that is not the case. It is truly optional. These tiers are all truly optional, and because of that, we can skip the first tier, which is called the Essential tier, which is basically PlayStation Plus as we know and love today. Same pricing, same annual, everything. Now, keep in mind that all the tiers, they have the benefits of the tier before them. So obviously, with Extra, you're going to get the tiers of PlayStation Plus Essential, and so on and so forth with the higher tiers. But getting into it, what it adds, besides like what I just mentioned, it adds up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in the Extra tier are downloadable for play. So, from what I'm seeing, it seems that the streaming aspect and the classic games are all being pushed up to the premium tier. And this tier is basically if you just want something extra on top, you want to be able to access a catalog of PlayStation 4 and PS5 games, which we will get into, that are being added without having to worry about streaming, or you don't care about older games. This is your tier. Now in the US, this will be $14.99 a month, and it will have an annual subscription of $100 yearly. But moving on to the cream of the crop, the Essential Classic tier, the PlayStation Plus Premium. Now, the PlayStation Plus Premium provides basically the other half of the games from PS Now, which are the classic games, but it also, as we know, expands, right? It offers up 340 additional games, the PS1, PS2, and PSP generation games, right? We have no real information on what we're getting in that department, what games we're going to get, how many we're going to get. We really have to just wait until the service launches, or they announce a pre-launch list of games coming to the service. But as you can see, this is where the streaming comes in. Now, a lot of people are going to be disappointed, but I expected this. The PS3 tier, the PS3 games are still going to be only accessible through streaming. If you understand the architect, of the PS3, you know that the cell processor is not something that was ever going to be easy for them to emulate, and I did not expect them to put in the effort. Good or bad, it is what it is. It's still not available for download, but from what I'm seeing, PS1, PS2, and I hope when it says PS2 it includes classic games, not just the sort of remastered ones, because I want to see a bigger list of PS2 games. Those will be available to download from what I'm seeing here, or stream. So that is the best case scenario in my opinion. They will have the classic games available to download, and hopefully you'll be able to use all the features of PlayStation 5 or PS4, like SharePlay, on these games, to where it's going to add even more value to the games. And who knows, maybe in the future they can do things like up-res the games, or we'll see. But for now, it's looking good. The premium service is looking good, and it will also include time-limited game trials, which I don't know why that should even be a thing. I think that should just be something that should just be offered in general, because sure, game trials are better than demos, but they serve the same purpose, right? We just need the demos. Bring us more demos for your games, please, developers. Okay? But looking at the pricing, this one will be $17.99 a month and $120 yearly. Now, looking at this through the eyes of someone who only subscribed to PS Now, this is essentially doubling the price, because you do need to use this premium tier if you want to have all the same games. Even though it's expanded annually, though, this is doubling the price. But if you were paying monthly for PS Now, this is essentially the same price if you go for that annual subscription. And that is it for the tiers, except no, it's not, because we do have a hidden tier, a fourth tier, which is PS Plus Deluxe, but this tier will probably only be available to certain markets that, as it says here, basically cannot offer cloud streaming. So they probably want to discount it for that market. I doubt it'll be an option for everyone, only people who are in that market. But that is it for the tiers. And overall, I'd say pretty good. I'd say pretty damn enticing. Each tier offers something for someone, and I feel like each tier has basically like someone in mind, has it has the person who wants to just get some free games for the current system or last generation, right? It has a tier for people who want to have that legacy collection of PlayStation games, right? Who like their classic games. I feel like it really is just looking at all the different audiences on the PlayStation platform and saying, here, we got something for you. So yeah, for the most part, pretty much what I expected, pricing it all. Except, there was one thing that was a surprise, which was that they will be including PS5 games to the mix. And while they're not being specific about which one of these launch games that they are showing, that they're announcing here will be PS5, I'm going to basically just assume that Death Stranding, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Miles Morales, as well as Mortal Kombat, are likely the PS5 versions. I'm just going to assume that, because we know for sure that Returnal is the PS5 version, because there is only one version of Returnal, and that is only on PS5. But God of War is also on this list, and we know that that's not going to be Ragnarok, so that is likely the PS4 version of God of War. And who knows, maybe some of these other games I just listed are also the PS4 versions, but I assume they want to have a good amount of PS5 version games available at launch, and I think that they've probably made their money off of these games at this point, and would be safe to include in the service. Are there any concerns? Of course. Of course. There are always concerns, and looking at Game Pass, that's the first thing I think of, the concern that PS Plus monthly games, will they stay at the same quality? Will they drop in quality? Technically, it would benefit them to keep it high quality or maybe even increase the quality because, you know, you are looking at a combined service. PS Plus, basically all these tiers are part of the same service in a way, so I would assume there wouldn't be a drop in quality in the PS Plus games, but I have to mention it. I have to, you know, put that down, because if it does get to that point where they try to get people to go to higher tiers because they're putting the good games in higher tiers, and PS Plus monthly games on the essential tier start dropping in quality, like we've seen with games with gold, yeah, we need to be ready to fight down on Sony. So yes, there are definitely concerns, and in the end, this is basically a price hike for people who are only subscribed to PS Now. Are you one of those people who subscribe to just PS Now? Does these new services entice you to want to upgrade? Do you think the upgrade is worth it or not worth it? Which tier will you be going with? For me, I'm definitely thinking about that extra tier for the most part. It really depends on the catalog of games they offer for the premium tier. I don't think anyone will consider the premium tier until we get that list, right? Until we know how many games and what will be available, you know? And like I said, in the future, it'd be great if they can do things to enhance these games. You know, I assume that it won't be enhanced, none of them will be enhanced at launched, but in the future, maybe. And I would also love to see an option to where if I own the game that's on that classic list, because the game is downloadable, why not just let me download the game even if I don't subscribe to this premium tier, right? Do it as a kindness to your customers. Just let people who own these games be able to download them, because if you had a PS3, you probably have a collection of older games that you bought from PSN. And really, this would be a nice gesture. But this has gone on long enough. This has been Honest to Critic. As always saying, if you're going to be a critic, be honest, and catch you next time.